unpunished.
The field stays the same. Here is Wokes again short, and Mears really missed out there. May have just rushed onto the bat a bit as it hits the top of the bat and just trickles through to Butler, but he set himself up for another pull into that leg side, a shot which we saw dominance in that first T20 International, Samuel.
Yeah, he's very strong with this particular shot. Sometimes he gets dismissed with it, but that's the risk you take, particularly in this format. Just the Q end off the bat. But I like the approach from the West Indians. They looked at the first 2 overs, got a little sense of what the pitch is doing, but they know too that they must capitalize on the field restrictions, and so they're going hard now.
Well, slower delivery to Mears, who's driving, comes off the edge, goes to Mills at short third. And remember, folks, this is quite different in terms of what the West Indies dealt with in that first T20 International. They batted second. Under the lights, there was a bit of moisture from the rain. You could argue maybe a dew factor, which could have allowed the ball to come on a bit better and made things tougher for England, and especially their wrist spinners. So it will be interesting to see, without that dew factor, very hot and humid conditions, how Rayan Ahmed, Adil Rashid especially, maybe even Liam Livingston, who we saw in that first game, can go with ball in hand. Now to Mears, still backward square and a deep point. Here is Wokes over the wicket, again short, and Mears is punching but straight to the man in the deep, just one.
Yeah, what the West Indies has, and I mentioned that in game number 1, is the ability to have a right-left combination out there in the middle for most of the innings. So that makes someone like Moeen Ali always under pressure if there's a right-hander there. The wrist spinners, they can bowl quite comfortably to either the left-handers or the right-handers based on their variations, but oftentimes we've seen the finger spinner come under the pump when there's that negative matchup. A little bit of a delay. Not entirely sure what the reason is. Might be the footing from Chris Wokes. There is some activity just where he lands that left foot upon delivery. We mentioned the rainfall and that moisture beneath the surface, so he might not be altogether comfortable upon landing. Umpire's just having a look. He's remonstrating, perhaps making his point. The batters are in the middle in discussion. A good start, 28 without loss. We're into the 4th over. Good partnership. Something that we've seen from the West Indies. These two have been given the opportunity once again. I'd also like to see, Nikhil, during the course of this series, other players given opportunities in different positions just to test exactly what they can do come that World Cup in 6 months' time. This series, in terms of the result, in my respectful view, not altogether important, but giving players opportunities at different phases. We saw England use the 2 wrist spinners. We're seeing West Indies today use their 2 finger spinners, Gudakesh Moti and Akil Hussain. So it'll be interesting to see how they go together. I'd also like to see someone like an O'Shane Thomas, even a Matthew Ford, be given a couple games and to see what he can do. And of course, Sherfin Rutherford. So Shemron Atmire today again. Maybe the next 2 matches, Sherfin Rutherford, and then in the 5th, based on how the series is going, you can make a decision then. But yeah, not too many matches left, international matches left, that is, before that T20 World Cup, and so teams will be looking just to iron out and to finalize their plans.
Yeah, just the pause continues because the ground staff are making their way out. I think they want to have some sawdust put down in and around that landing area, so one of the ground staff is out making their way to the middle, trying to apply that to the surface. In the meantime, though, gives us a chance to reflect. Just the 2 overs bowled initially went for just 7 runs. However, the last 11 deliveries, the West Indies have scored 21 runs, and it's been because of Brandon King, who attacked Moeen Ali for 12 in that last over, and now we're seeing a similar attack from Kyle Mears against Wokes. It'll be interesting to see the way that Jos Buttler uses Sam Curran, uses Tamal Mills, the left-arm seamer who took the most wickets in the 100. But it won't be easy because look at the last 3 years, the West Indies have been the best scoring team in the power play, just a touch under 9 runs and over. So King, Mears, Shea Hope and Nicholas Pooran, that top 4 have been very successful for the West Indies in recent times. We saw it in that first game where Hope was able to navigate the spin threat initially, and we could be seeing it again today in terms of that dominance. 28 without loss on the board, 3.5 overs gone.
Yeah, I wanted to see what impact the stop clock would have on this game. In that first game, there were lots of rainfall, so we didn't really get to fully appreciate the impact, if any, from the stop clock. We already had a delay now here unforced due to that wet landing area. Remember, if you're not too familiar, this series is the first international series where that stop clock is being trialed. The fielding team has 60 seconds after the last delivery is bowled to get ready for the next over, failing which after 2 times you face a penalty of 5 runs. And that is in addition to the overrate penalty with fielders coming into the inner circle if you're not within your time.
Well, ready for the resume. Here is Walks, straight delivery on the pads, just flicked away forcefully down to deep backwards square for a single. Ends the 4th over, finally 29 without loss. A good start for the West Indies. This time they're batting first after losing the toss. So far so good. Live on TalkSport 2.
A nice little platform being laid here. Music blaring in the background. Crowd is looking quite decent. Lots of local supporters here today, much unlike what we saw in Barbados and Antigua, where the Barmy Army and the English supporters vastly outnumbered the locals. Looks to be a little bit different this time around. Nice to see the fans coming in, and it has to do with the way West Indies have been playing. They won that ODI series 2-1, and they started off this one enterprisingly. They have a solid batting unit, very strong middle and lower order. I just wonder if that impacts the way these batters, but knowing the depth and the quality that they have. A change in bowling from the commentary box, and Sam Curran into the attack for the first time. Left arm round the wicket to Brandon King.
Yeah, first look at Curran, who's around the wicket to King, driving that extra cover region, which he favours again. No run. Interesting that England have backed Curran even through phases of adversity in this series. You saw it in the One International Series. Went for 98 runs in that first ODI, then came back superbly well, won player of the match with 3 wickets. Last game, he went for 23 runs in just 2.1 overs, and both those overs were in the power play. Butler has wanted to use him mainly with that newer ball, trying to use that wind to take the ball into the right-hander. Here he is wide of the crease. King advances and lifts it over extra cover for 4. A strong area for Brandon King is that extra cover region, and he's capitalizing on this occasion.
There might have been another slower delivery from Sam Curran. Yes, it was, and he just met it on the full, hits it on the up, clears the field at mid-off quite comfortably. So slower delivery ball 1, slower delivery ball 2. Brandon King is having none of it. He seems to have a good idea of what the surface is doing. Really positive approach. 21 from 14. He's racing along. Mayers 11 from 12.
Yeah, both men leg side on the boundary. Here's King edging this one. Butler gets a crucial right hand onto it. It was an attempted cut shot by Brandon King. Interesting though, Sam, that he's going to that off stump or wider line, but both feeders are leg side, deep backward square, and a very straight deep mid wicket.
It has an umbrella ring across the offside. Everyone is on the circle. No one really cutting a single because the batters are looking to go hard. Doesn't want to bowl straight. I know the point you're making with the 2 fielders there, but still he doesn't want them to hit there.
It looks to be another slower delivery. It is, and bouncer this time into the pitch. King can't pull it, goes through to Butler for no run. So good start from Sam Curran. 4 of the first 4 deliveries, and to take you through the rest of this over and a few more, we'll send it back to the studio with Jonathan Norman.
Thank you, team. Yes, 33 without loss and West Indies. Pressure has been in and around this England team, the white ball team, for quite some time. But when it's in professional sport, but West Indies have got off to a decent start. I'm John Norman. Alongside me, Jared Kimber, Steve Harmison and Alex Tudor. Curran is in again. One hand off the bat from King. No timing there. Slight misfield. No damage done. Just one boundary then from this first Sam Curran over. Coming from the second ball, Brandon King, who had a patchy ODI series. He's 21 from 17. And Carl Mayers, who hit 2 absolute monsters. 6s in West Indies' 4-wicket win over England in the first T20 is 11 from 12. Curran at the top of his mark. Last ball of the 5th over. We're in the power play here on TalkSport 2. He is in. Down the track it is King, and this will race away to the boundary. 4 more to the score. 37 without loss. Thoughts, Tutes?
Yeah, that's a fantastic shot. It's a great start by King and Mayers. He's just advanced down a wicket at Sam Curran, who's come round the wicket. One of those slower balls again, dispatched him down the ground, hit powerfully down the ground. He knew as soon as he hit it that it was 4. Put Sam Curran's over. It's gone for 8 off the first over. It's not too bad, but you always talk about getting out that over, and last ball going for 4, you'll be disappointed with that.
Both of the boundaries in that over were essentially premeditated shots. The batter coming down the track. Is that the kind of shot that's easier to do against a bowler like Sam, who's not particularly tall and is not bowling particularly fast?
Yeah, I think so, John. And also that he's going to bowl a lot of change-ups. So you've seen the wicket, you've seen conditions, you've seen him for a while. You're sort of thinking he's going to bowl a change-up. I'm going to have a go.
Wokes is having a go. This is a beautiful pick-up from Carl Mayers. He holds his position, great call, and he just helps this up over the leg side boundary for 6.
In the slot, absolute in the slot, on leg stump, probably going to hit leg stump. What? Just about the top of leg stump. Nice, on the top of the bounce, just going up with it. The beautiful shot. We've seen a couple of them in Barbados from Myers. It's a bad start of the over for Chris Wokes.
14 from the first 2. He's going to bowl 3 back-to-back overs in the power play is Wokes. First ball's gone for 6. Looks like a cutter, and Myers, again, he's happy just to stay in the crease. Very still, opens the face of the bat and just tries to place the ball past that point, but gets it a fraction too straight, and it's fielded. 43 without loss.
I like Harmy. When you see in the game sort of 2020, you see a lot of overhitting. That shot previous to Carl Myers, he was just well controlled, had his balance, had total control, and he didn't overhit it. He just backed himself with tremendous power.
We saw that in the first T20 as well. This is wide-ish and hauled, really, dragged from well outside. I think that possibly would have been a wide if he'd let it go, but essentially, instead of trying to target the covers, Myers has tried to drag this through the leg side, and it's fielded.
Yeah, that was probably the overhitting bit. He's gone for the overhitting and lost his balance, lost his shape, because he's obviously the angle's gone wider. I think the one that he hit for 6 was perfect in the arc. Just continue, just hit through the line of the ball. Just help the ball on its way. It's bouncing a little bit, and as it's getting to the top of its bounce, just help it over the top. You got to remember, you just got to hit it over 30-yard circle in this time. But sometimes when you do that, you do it a little bit further.
Good comeback from Wokes though. Touch fuller, and Myers loses his body shape here. He goes for an expansive drive over long off, but he doesn't clear Sam Curran at mid-off, running back, and Wokes has struck. Windies lose their first. 43 for 1.
Yeah, that's very, very good bowling from Chris Wokes. He's talked about bowling the slot for the first ball of the over. He's gone to the slower ball, gone to the cutter, and that one there, again, just a little bit wider, a touch wider, and I think that's what's made Kyle Myers lose his shape. He wants to hit it on his dominant leg side. He wants to pick it up, but unfortunately, because Chris Wokes has drawn him into it, he hasn't been able to readjust his body position, and he's lost his shape, he's lost his balance, and all of a sudden, because he's still trying to hit it on the leg side, it's gone straight up in the air. An excellent catch as well from Sam Curran running back, because they're never easy running back into the blue sky. Remember, it's blue sky. It's not a night game, so he's had a look. There's not many clouds in the sky, but he's had to just turn his shoulder, get himself positioned right, and take what did look like an easy catch, but believe me, it's not. Excellent bit of bowling by Chris Wokes, and timely. England needed this wicket.
They did need the wickets. A wicket in the power play. Both West Indies and England got off to good starts. Now, in the first T20, West Indies were able to carry on though. Now, Nicholas Pooran's come in, Jarrett.
I assume this is left-hand, right-hand, because I can't think of another reason why Shai Hope wouldn't come in at this point. I would assume, especially with all the spinners, you probably don't want them to load up on their 2 offies or the 2 leggies with a bad matchup. So I'm only guessing, Harmy, does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so. I think they've got left hand, right hand. I think Pooran and Hope very flexible, very experienced cricketers. So I think they know the jobs that the team requires them to do. So that's the only thing I can think of is left hand for left hand.
Wokes it is then. Pooran facing his first delivery, and he will pick up 4. Now I'm not sure if that was guided past Mills. oils a genuine outside edge. We'll have to have a little look again. Jared Kimber to the right of me has just said good shot, so we'll say that it was a deliberate attempt there just to split the field. Well, that's a good start to Puran's innings.
It's a brutal slip in place as well, and that good move. I was just about to say that's a good decision to bring slip in. Brought backward point a little bit further round and brought slip into play, but that was a very, very exceptional shot from Puran.
First slip's gone wider now, and this is dropped into the offside by Nicholas Puran. Power play is done. 48 for 1 West Indies. Asked to bat first. They would have preferred to chase as well. Rodman Powell saying that at the toss with our very own Sam Ellard. But Tudes, your thoughts at 6 overs in?
Yeah, decent start. Good start from the West Indies. They'll be, disappointed. Carl Myers looked like he was sort of enjoying himself. Just got underneath one, and it was a good catch by Sam Curran. But it's a good start, and I think England will be quite happy with that. You look at run rates now, isn't it? It's all about strike rates and run rates in this form of the game. And as you say, 48 off 6 overs, they'll be happy with that. As we see Adil Rashid coming into the attack.
I don't think this pitch has been touted as one of the best for T20 on, but I'm not sure it's as good a surface as what that normally are here. I think the power play in the last game, 59 was the West Indies for 1. England was 77, so a little bit behind that. England will be very, very happy of the way they've gone in the first 6 overs.
Rashid to bowl his first over. No slip in place, and this is very, very full. And Puran will possibly feel like he's missed out. Scuffs the ball into the offside, and no run. Brandon King 25 from 18. Nicholas Puran 5 from 3. Adil Rashid is in again, and Puran playing back. Googly there, I think. It wasn't read by the batter. Squirts to the fielder. Backward of point. Quite close to the batter though. What kind of score do you think's a good one here? What do you think West Indies will be targeting? Jude, you can answer that in a second after this third delivery from Rashid. Again floated up, and Puran goes to the big shot. He's targeting mid-wicket. He's gone aerial, and it's been caught. Chris Wokes successfully takes the catch straight down his throat, and promoting Nicholas Puran up the order has not worked. 48 for 2 West Indies.
Yeah, that's great bowling by Adil Rashid. Again, done it with a googly as he does to the left-handers. Nicholas Puran's fancied himself, did it over deep mid-wicket. And it's gone straight up. Chris Wokes just steadies himself, safe pair of hands, catches it chest high. Summers in his eyes a little bit, and as I always say to the kids, get that hand up just to get the sun out your eyes, and then as it gets close, take it away and then gather it in. Safe pair of hands from Chris Wokes. And Nicholas Puran has to depart from 5. And as you said, John, it's not quite worked out for him, and it's a big wicket actually for England, because he's been in fantastic form in franchise cricket, playing T20 and T10.
Yeah, he's also incredibly powerful on the leg side. He is very leg side dominant, isn't he, Puran? So good skills from Rashid. He would have known where the batter wanted to hit him.
He was touch frustrated was Nicholas Puran, because the ball before Rashid's first ball, the looping nearly just before the full toss, and he's blocked it into sort of extra cover, and I think extra cover was asleep, and Nicholas Puran wanted a single. He wanted to rotate the strike. England's best spin bowler, so when the spin bowler comes on, you want to try and rotate the strike, and he was looking for his partner at the other end, Brandon King, who wasn't forthcoming with he wasn't on the same wavelength, and unfortunately for Puran, he then tried to hit the next ball out of Grenada and managed to get himself out. So there was frustration there from Puran.
We do have a slip back in place for the new batter. This is tossed up wide of Shea Hope, who plays a cross-batted shot down the ground and gets off the mark.
I think it was a leggy, wasn't it? It did look.
Well, it did look like maybe it did come out the front of the hand a little bit.
Tossed up again, and forward is King. Again, just dragging the ball wide of off stump into the leg side. Fielder's back on the boundary now. We're not inside the power play.
It wasn't a full-blown top spinner that you'd normally get from Rashid, but it didn't spin. It just seems to hole in the pitch, bounced if anything, but bounced straight up.
Last ball of the over. This is on a off-stump line, and Hope is forward and trying to really pick a gap in a quite packed offside field, but can't do so. The ball squirts to point, and that is a decent over from Adil Rashid.
Great start from England's 100 man. Andrew Flintoff presented him with the cap as a nice speech, showing his age as well, because he talked about Adil Rashid being a youngster in the team and it was on the Caribbean tour in the one-day series. I was on that trip when Adil Rashid was on it, so it was nice that Adil gets his cap, his 100th cap. That's a great achievement. Shows the longevity of England's leg spinner. And talking about England's leg spinner, he's got a job to do as Adil Rashid to help educate and what looks as though a promising career in Rehan Ahmed.
7 overs in then. You're listening to TalkSport 2. Get in contact with us at cricket_TS or at TalkSport 2 on Twitter /X or via the chat box on the TalkSport Cricket YouTube page. Rehan Ahmed is in. We've got leg spin at both ends. No real turn there from this first delivery from Ahmed, and it's King who playing it deep in his crease, happy just to push this up to mid-on for a single. 51 for 2. Lots of chat on the chat group. I'll go through some of those messages very shortly, but this be one of the few times, or the first few times, you would have commentated on Rehan Ahmed. Choose, have you seen much of him over the last couple of years? Obviously with your work with Sky as well. What a delivery from Ahmed. He has bamboozled Shai Hope, who was playing back and then really pushing the bat out in front of him, more in hope than expectation, and off stump has been rattled. 51 for 3.
Tudes, I think he's got a good googly.
Yeah, no, he's not picked that one, has he? He's gone back. He's looked like he was going to cut it, and then he's like, oh no. And it's just sort of come back at him, Shai Hope, and he's been in tremendous form. So that's a massive wicket for England and Rehan Ahmed. And as you said, John, I've seen a bit of him, and what I've seen I like. You know, he's a confident young man. Not only does he bowl leg spin well, he can also bat, let me tell you. So he's going to be a tremendous find for England. And as you said, bowling at the other end to Rashid, he can only learn. You can sort of look at that as you know, he can mentor him, show him what it's about, you know, touring, bowling different conditions on different pitches. It's a great learning curve for him with Mo out there as well. It's great to see, you know, a young individual getting his opportunity and taking it, you know, and getting that wicket in his first over. It's a fantastic start for the young man.
I want to see that again, because out of the hand that definitely looked like a wrong end, and it reminded me of the Ravi Bishnoi ball, and he bowls very similar to Ravi Bishnoi in that it looks like a wrong, but it actually spins slightly away. Yeah,
it did, but I think he looked as though he might have got an inside edge on it, which exaggerated why it went on to off stump, why I thought it was the big googly.
He still played the wrong line.
He did play the wrong line.
He wasn't sure what he was playing, and
he looked flummoxed, didn't he?
Off stump looked flummoxed.
It was, yeah. It did.
Yeah.
It did, yeah.
Yeah, it was a clear inside edge onto off stump, just grazed the bat. Hetmeyer's a new batter, forward, and 2 full from Ahmed. He'll be a little bit disappointed with this. Slip in place again, pushed up to mid-off, so Hetmeyer gets off the mark.
still looks like a wrong and coming out of the hand. I can see how it is a leg spinner now that we've seen it slowed down 4 times, but if we're struggling to pick it on the 4th go, you can see why Shai Hope might have struggled.
That's why we batted where we did.
King playing back and across, and again we'll take a single up to mid-on. West Indies losing 3 wickets for just 10 runs.
And the beauty about that delivery, we're talking about it and not being able to pick it, this is against Shai Hope. This is against a guy who's got 5,000 ODI runs in the same amount of time as Virat Kohli and Sir Vivian Richards. This is a proper player.
Left-handed Hetmeyer's forward in defence. Little applause there for the defensive shot from Hetmeyer. I mean, pressure on him as well. We seem to be saying the same thing with him. Apart from when he's playing in the IPL, Jared was showing me some astonishing numbers from him. Full and driven by Hetmeyer. There's consistency to Hetmeyer's game in the months of March, April and May. I think it's safe to say.
I think there's consistency in his game, full stop. They're just different types of consistency in March, April and May. There's no doubt, Jared, that this boy is supremely talented. He's got everything you want as a batter. You know, he can play both sides of the wicket, he can hit the power shot, he has the game, and just possibly the mentality.
It's not even just mentality, is it? There's a lot going on with him off the field, and there has been for a lot of his life. And remember when we were in West Indies and he made those runs, Sam Allard said to me, do you think he'll be a really good test player? And I said, he could easily average between 40 and 45 in test cricket. He's never going to stick around long enough to work on his game to be that. And it's a bit like what John was saying before with the IPL. We know when the IPL's around, he looks like one of the best players in the world. The rest of the year, it doesn't always put in his best performance.
Let's see what kind of a performance he's going to put on here. A good sprawling stop at short mid-wicket from Rehan Ahmed, I think. We're going to see some more spin. Yep, Ahmed diving to his right, preventing a single, keeping Hetmeyer on strike. 2 from 4. King at the other end, 28 from 21. He's been watching a lot of cricket for the last few overs. As edge straight to first slip, and Adil Rashid has struck. Moeen Ali with the grab, and Hetmeyer's innings once again has come to an end very swiftly. He's gone for 2, and the West Indies lose another here on TalkSport 2.
That was definitely out the front of the hand, and it was a lot quicker, and Hetmeyer's feet were stuck in concrete either side of the pop-in crease. Adil Rashid knows that. He just pushed it a little bit quicker, but pushed it a little bit wider. Gone with the drift, and Hetmeyer's hands came forward, but unfortunately his feet and his body didn't go with them, and he's just... it was like a slip fielding catch. He just guided it, and it's gone quickly to Moeen Ali. Excellent catch at slip. The West Indies now, their captain walks out, he's doing some stretches, cap on, adjusts his equipment, and his team are in big trouble at 54 for 4. 8.2 overs gone in this game, with spin looking as though it's really, really dangerous on this surface.
Just to add something to what Josh Butler said at the toss, Moeen Ali was coming in because of the left-handers, to bowl to left-handers. Adil Rashid's now got both the left-handers that they were worried about out. And if you have a look of the last few years, he's been averaging 19 against left-handers and 26 against right-handers. So that wrong-un is really working for him. That wasn't the wrong-un there. And in fact, neither of the wickets were the wrong-un today. The other one was a leg spinner, and that was the one out the front of the hand. But I think Adil Rashid, especially in T20 cricket, as a woman holds a fake baby in the stands. Sorry, completely put me off. It was such a weird image. I believe they're called dolls. I think he's just become a really good bowler to left-handers in T20 cricket.
Rovman Powell, the West Indies skipper, is beaten by a ball that gripped on middle and off and turned away from the right-handed Powell, striking him high up on the pad. That's a horrible ball to get first up.
He's putting on an exhibition as Adil Rashid. He's showing his class, 2 from 2 of 1.3. These West Indian batsmen have to be very watchful.
It's very often the follow-up ball, though, after that big turning one. And this is a touch straighter. It doesn't get the line right, though, and it's clipped away. Powell gets off strike and off the mark with a single.
West Indies lost 4 for 11 in 17 balls as well. That's not good.
No, it isn't, but they still have players at the crease that you'd back to score, and I suppose this is kind of the difference with the West Indies and England at the moment, as Powell, who didn't get off the mark to that last delivery, is forward and punches this wide of mid-off for a single. 55 for 4 then, West Indies. You're listening to TalkSport 2, and we're just seeing that was a smart catch by Ali, wasn't it? It did go to him pretty speedily.
Went quickly, but his hands were down, and then they were up, and then he managed to take them hands down.
Tossed up and driven, fielded well. Not sure if that's still Ahmed at extra cover. Either way, that's the end of another good over for England. 1 run coming from it, and the wicket of Shimron Hetmeyer. Brandon King and Rovman Powell at the crease. 9 overs in the score. West Indies 55 for 4.
Great start from England now. That power play, possibly the West Indies thinking we might be a little bit behind, possibly 1 over behind when it comes to the numbers from them first 6 overs, and that's possibly why Nicholas Pooran played the shot he did. Shai Hope was absolutely bamboozled by her beauty, and the same with Hetmeyer. Hetmeyer was done by an excellent bit of bowling, not just the wicket taking ball, but the balls around that to put him under pressure. He's faced 5 balls, 3 of them top spinners that went on with her hand, and then that little bit quicker. And then even Powell, when he first came in, took the pace off it, did Rashid.
Second over for Rayan Ahmed, and Powell is really chasing at a delivery, playing it defensively as well. Would have got him in all sorts of trouble. And left leg pointing to square leg by the end, and the bat following the ball. This is a better looking shot from Powell. He's forward and just pushes this up to mid-on for a single. He moves to 2. The score 56 for 4. This is good from England. Just wondering whether we're going to see Tamal Mills bowl today. England have come in essentially, if spin is working for them, and it has done so far. They've got Livingston and Jacks, Ahmed, Ali and Rashid, and Rayan Ahmed has just been hit back past his head before. King, a little bit too full from Ahmed on that occasion. Brandon King has freed his arms somewhat, back of the hand, and he's gone for 4.
Yeah, he's gone for the wrong one. He's just got a little bit long in his length, and that's what Brendan King was waiting for, and he dispatched him down the ground.
Full again, beaten. Oh, what a delivery from Ahmed. Brandon King all round that one, and I think an inside edge past leg stump has saved him. Otherwise that would have been another scalp for Ahmed. Have to see this one again, but King's very lucky to still be there.
King might need to see it for the first time.
Well, it's just ball before, not ball before, but in the over power, it's like they're not quite picking it up. They're playing back when they should be forward.
His back is Powell on the pull, no timing, and another run. Livingston at deep mid-wicket, probably about 10 yards in from the boundary. 1 ball left of the 10th over. Windies 62 for 4.
It's like they've decided to play him off the back foot, but I can't really understand what the thinking behind that is.
Forward is King, touch too full, and the line wasn't quite right there from Ahmed. Still, decent over. That 4 aside, 8 coming from it. And we've got a drinks break here. We're at the halfway stage of the innings, and the West Indies have got off to a decent start. Lost 4 wickets for 11 runs, 43 without loss when Myers was dismissed. Hetmeyer the 4th of those 4 wickets, 54 for that stage. The 63 for 4. We were thinking score of 200. We're not anymore, Holly.
No, we're not anymore. I think if they get anywhere near 150, I think the West Indies will be very, very happy. You've got to remember they've got some power to come. They've got some baton and power to come. Jason Holder got a test double 100 when we were commentating out there in 2019, I think it was, when that one of the longest day in commentary history, when they didn't lose a wicket. Was it Shane Dowrich as well? That got 100 and plenty. So Holder's scheduled to come in number 8. He might actually come in next to keep Andre Russell for the last 5 or 6 overs. Akil Hussain can bat. Alzari Joseph can hold a bat. So there are batting to come. West Indies will be looking around about 150 to keep them in the game. England will be looking at trying to bowl them out for 120, especially the way the 2 leg spinners have gone.
And England, of course, don't have a lot of confidence. They may say otherwise. They would sorely love to be able to wrap this one up comfortably and quite quickly. But King and Powell, as you say, they do have batting to come.
But John, this is in Tudes, this is where England have really, I think, let themselves down in the recent past, 50 over and 20 over, is that they haven't, probably because of the confidence that they're not playing with, but they haven't really grasped the fact that a team are down, right, we're going to go for the throat now, and now we're going to bowl them out for 120. Not worry about the last 3 overs, 4 overs of this game. Not worry about Andre Russell coming in later on and belting it and keeping people's overs. Just take the game by the scruff of the neck and just go and bowl the West Indies out. The West Indies did that to them the other day. Go and bowl the West Indies out. And I think that's possibly where England are from a confidence point of view, where they're just lacking that little bit, because that's what good sides do.
Jared, who would you be looking to for the next few overs? Doing as Harmy said, or is this a good chance just to give Mills an over or 2, or do you hold him back? Curran's still got 3 overs, of course. I mean, you could continue with spin. Livingston and Jacks could play.
I think against these two, you're probably always going to go with your spinners. That's your best chance of getting wickets. Brandon King, not a very good player of spin, and Rodman Powell's got a lot better, but realistically, outside of off spin, he's still not that comfortable against it. Plus, they keep playing really weird shots, so I'd probably go with that for now.
I don't think that we saw a replay of the delivery that King inside edge past his own stump. This is too wide. A run added to the score. It is another over for Rashid. He's picked up 2 wickets and gone for just 4 runs so far from his first 2 overs. He will have to bowl that one again though. 64 for 4 then. King facing up. This is well wide. And has it been called a wide? I mean, I'm not sure how that hasn't been called a wide. It was a leg break. It pitched wide and then turned even wider, way past the tram line. Huge swing of the bat from King. No contact. Umpires deem that a legal delivery. This is straighter and just clipped away for a single. Shouts of no. Certainly not a second run there.
That was wide. Yeah, that was wide. I just can't get my head round that one.
And it takes one to no one.
Yeah,
as well.
it does take one to no one. I tell you, from a man who knows what a wide is, that was a wide. It literally pitched in and around the red line, and then it did spin big.
This is on a 4th or 5th stump line, full from Rashid. Single taken. 66 for 4. This is good though. England continuing with the pressure. Will they bowl Rashid out? I mean, they very often do give him 4 off the back, don't they? 4 in the spin. Down the track, and King kind of yorks himself actually. I think Rashid saw him coming and just dragged the ball back a fractional. That's just another single. 67 for 4.
It's interesting watching. Moeen Ali's at slip, and Moeen Ali is gesturing. We can see on our pictures he's gesturing to Brandon King from Adil Rashid. Bowl it a bit wider. Bowl it wider. Getting him for the googly. He's just done it again there for Rothman Powell. Get him across the stumps.
Rashid, this isn't particularly wide. No run. Opens the face of the bat, does Powell. Can't beat backward point.
But that's what he wants him. That's exactly where he wants him, because Rothman Powell is having to defend it towards point, cover point. He wants his body shape going towards and getting his head across towards off stump for the googly or the straight on to come back to then get him LBW.
Last ball of the over. Again, this is really tossed up. Dies on Powell, who takes the ball and adds a run to his score. West Indies' highest total when losing the first 4 wickets for 55 or less. Batting first, 152 for 7 against Pakistan a few years back now, 10 years ago, but I think they'll probably take that right now.
In that over, Adil Rashid bowled 1 ball at 90 kilometres an hour, a couple at 80, 85, and a couple at 70 and 73. So just really mixing up his pace against 2 guys who don't feel particularly comfortable against him to begin with. Also, that straight one he bowled looked like it swung down the leg side, and he did something with his fingers. Did you pick that up, Army, at all?
No, it looked as though it did just it came out of his. It didn't come out the front of his hand. He just tried to slide it out. Whether he's just his fingers a bit slippy or what, and it just come off the middle finger. But it did look as though it just swung down leg side. But it's interesting that Moeen Ali at slip is trying to get him to push him across the stumps. You can see he's setting him up for the googly. Very heavy-footed, the West Indian batsmen, because they like to plant their feet and big shots, and I think that's what the spin bowlers are doing, taking pace off and saying, if you want to hit it, you're going to have to use your brute force.
Tamar Mills is going to get a bowl, and he is in. Length delivery. Runs his fingers through it, I think. And Rothman Powell is way too early on the shot. 7th match in 13 years for England in the first at T20. So this will be his 8th. And if you're Rothman Powell and West Indies, you're thinking, okay, we have got to capitalise on somebody, and surely it's got to be now. Mills again, left arm round the wicket. Yorker dug out by Powell. Already seeing some variations from Mills, who has been part of the commentary team here on TalkSport 2 over the years. He's a great lad, isn't he? He's certainly a very popular bloke, and Obviously, you feel for anybody who suffers from injuries, and injuries have certainly got him in the way of playing for England more regularly over the 7 or 8 years that he has done so. Big money move to the IPL a few years back as well. He's in again, and struck on the pads is Powell. This is clearly going down the leg side though, and it's no run.
So both of these batters actually like left arm pace, but I think they would have felt bad if they threw the ball to Liam Livingstone at this stage ahead of one of their frontline bowlers, is my guess, especially because he hadn't bowled at all. But Tamar Mills is a really good middle overs bowler. He averages 24, which is way less than what most seamers do. Doesn't go at too many runs per over as well. So I think when he played for Hobart a couple of years ago, I was suggesting that they should move him away from the new ball and just keep him in the middle and almost play him like Plunkett.
Mills again. This is a loopy full toss. It's very, very wide, and Powell is completely deceived by that. He goes hard at the ball, misses it, and that's 4 dot balls at the start of Mills' over.
Yeah, it's a great start. Started off with a slower ball, that back of the hand, which he bowls so well. And he's done it there on that 4th one. Done for Rothman Powell. Like you say, it's so hard when you've got someone who can bowl at excess of 90 miles an hour and then he bowls the ball at low 70s. It's very difficult.
4 dot balls then. This is a great start by Tamar Mills. Round the wicket now, and this is cracked through the covers, and it's going to beat the fielder on the boundary. Phil Salt can't get round to cut that off. I didn't think he timed that at first, but who needs timing when you can smash it like that?
The sound was ridiculous off the bat. It was an absolute beauty of a shot. It's interesting, you just mentioned there, 2 slow balls at 100 k's, first ball and 4th ball. Second and third ball, 139 kilometres an hour, 141 kilometres an hour from over the wicket, both Yorkers, both full into the block hole out the way. That one around the wicket in the half volley slot.
Who's still round the wicket is Mills. Beaten. Powell prodding at a delivery and lucky not to get the edge. Good comeback from Mills and a decent over as well. 4 from it, 12 overs in. West Indies 72 for 4.
I think if he has any issues, it's that he's quite a smart guy and he tries too many things, because he was bowling beautifully over the wicket. And don't get me wrong, that last ball was unplayable, what he's just bowled there. But the ball before was just kind of a slot ball around the wicket. And you're like, the way you were bowling over, you didn't need to do that. And I think sometimes you watch him and there is just that element of he's overthinking, but he's trying to stay ahead of the batters, which is fine if you're Harry Gurney and you bowl at 130 k's an hour. If you're bowling 150, him and Anrik Nortje have the biggest pace differential between their top pace and their slower ball. So he's got so many natural advantages. I'm not sure he needs to add to that. I mean, Ashwin does it, right? Sometimes you're watching Ashwin, you just bowl 6 offies in a row because you do that really well. You don't need to keep changing around the wicket and changing all these other things. But it is very much how modern T20 bowling is going.
Rayan Ahmed to bowl his 3rd over, tossed up, and Brandon King could be about to perish in the way that we've seen 2 times before. No, he's got more on it, and Chris Wokes just watches the ball sail over his head at long off. 6 to the score.
Again, he just got long in that length, and that's what Brandon King's waiting for. And when he hit it, he was happy with that. He knows bat looked like he turned in his hands, but he got a good part of it. Chris Wokes can only see it sail over his head at long off.
6 hitting hasn't been evident in the way that it was in the first T20. What a smart bit of fielding there by Adil Rashid. Really pulling this ball hard and fast to Rashid's left, and he's taken a good grab and thrown the ball back to Joss Buttler behind the stumps. Brandon King will feel like he's missed out. Alistair has got in contact with us via the TalkSport Cricket YouTube channel. He's got a message for you, Jared. This is defended into the covers by King. A member of the crowd is holding a fake baby, in reference to Jared's comments earlier on. Technically correct. Marvellous, says Alistair. I hear the 9 to 5 singer is now changing her name to Fake Baby Parton, which is ridiculous in itself. Driven and a misfield at long off. Wokes it is. He just puts his hand up in apology to Rayan Ahmed. That should not have reached the boundary. It was driven again, And Wokes got the old long barrier out, and it's whacked him on his knee and gone behind for 4.
Yeah, he got everything in the right place apart from the hands. The hands were right in front of the knee, and that'll be a sore one, not just for the just above the knee, but the pride as well, because Chris Wokes did all the hard work getting there early, getting down, but unfortunately, it's an interesting field position now for Rian Ahmed.
Nice little knock from King, who goes big again, and there's no danger of this reaching anything but the top tier. 50 with a 6, an important cameo for West Indies. They're 88 for 4, and this is a expensive over for England.
Yeah, I just mentioned the field position. He's brought a man from the leg side over to the offside. He's got a mid-off and long off down deep on the straight boundary, and where Chris Wokes nearly stopped that ball and kicked it and knocked it over for 4. But this time, ball's a bit straighter. Instead of Brandon King playing outside off stump, he's slog swept it. It was a big hit into the leg side, and I think he's out of the ground. I think they're looking for either a new ball or somebody's on the way to the running track to get the old one. I think it's either bounced off the concrete, or Gregory Brathwaite's just looking at the ball. I'm not actually sure this is the ball they've been using, because I think it's a newer ball, so they might be trying to make it a little bit older. But that was a fantastic strike there by Brandon King. Slog sweep into the stand. Might have actually gone out of it.
We saw 2 monster hits, didn't we, in the first T20? I think there was 103m6 from Myers, I think it was. I'm not sure if you saw that flash up. I'm not sure if they gave a measurement for that one, but that was a big one. And pressure on Rian Ahmed to get out the over now. He's gone for 16, cut away by King, who's enjoying himself today. Livingston, I think, fields at deep point, and it's 89 for 4 West Indies at the end of the 13th.
So that is King's highest score in his last 10 matches now. He's actually going through a bit of a poor time. He made a 52 in the CPL against Guyana, but recent times, whether it be the ODIs or CPL or even earlier in the series, he's struggled. So just working himself back into form a little bit here. It's been a little bit patchy at times, but he's looked better than I've seen him look for a little while.
I think he had a good score against India, but that was in August in the tour of West Indies and America. Have you ever seen, did the CPL go to America when you were at the St. Lucia, whatever they were called back then?
It did. Do you want to know why I didn't go to America?
Visa?
Because the owner of our team was having a fight with the owner of the other team, and so we played them in Jamaica rather than going to Florida.
Hang on, I don't understand why
he refused to go to America because he was an American owner, and he's like, I should be hosting the American games, not you. So we all went to Kingston instead of Florida.
Mills deceiving King first up. 137 kilometres an hour there by Tamar Mills.
Yeah, they've got
good times, Jared.
Yeah, it's what, then they forgot to get me a visa for America when we travelled via there another time. But that's another story of how the owner wasn't very good. But they've got a stadium over in Florida. The CPL's played there a few times. I think they're hosting some World Cup games there as well, and they want to try and host some Major League Cricket there as well. But apparently the Florida stadium's not as good as some of the other American stadiums. And I think New York's about to build a new one as well.
Length delivery from Mills, and fielded inside the circle by Rashid. Just a single. Yeah, I think that India versus Pakistan is going to be played in a temporary stadium holding 30,000.
That's in New York, isn't it?
Yes, it is in New York.
It's not New York, isn't it? Yeah.
Not